Welcome, members, officers, members of the public. Just wanted to start with just an item, just for information. I regret to say Councillor Costigan won't be with us tonight. Her mother has just died. But I'm sure we'll pass on your condolences to her. Thank you very much. Are there any apologies?
We have apologies from Councillors Ahmed, as you say, Councillor Costigan, Councillor Hartwell, Councillor Horton, Pam Hughes, Councillor Jarvis, Councillor Katoon, Councillor Moore, Councillor Shackleton, Councillor Tagger, Councillor Worsley and Councillor Underhill. And Councillor Singh.
Are there any declarations of interest to be declared at the meeting?
I have a declaration to make at item 8.
Thank you. Any others? Councillor Jones?
Sorry, I have entered Councillor Hussain into the book as an apology as well.
Thank you. Any other apologies or declarations of interest? Thank you very much. Item 3, to confirm as a correct record the minutes of the meeting of the extraordinary meeting of Council held 4th of June 2019. Are those a true record? Can we move? Thank you. Item 4, receive announcements from the Mayor. Well, yeah.
Did you announce the public gallery stuff?
Oh, I didn't. Thank you very much. Sorry. Forgot to announce the public gallery stuff. Right. So welcome to the meeting. The meeting is being webcast live, allowing people to view the meeting via the Council's website. We do not film the public gallery. The press and any members of the public can film the meeting, make an audio recording, take photographs, blog or tweet during the meeting. Can I ask if anyone is intending to film the meeting? Thank you. If, in that case, can I caution you, you can only film the meeting. You're not allowed to film members of the public sitting in the public gallery, and please avoid causing any disruption to the meeting. If any member of the public objects to being recorded, this is your opportunity to leave the meeting. Back to item 4. The Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sue Hartwell, and myself have been busy. We've attended about 40 events between us, including 3 citizenship events, employee events, lots of things. You've, I think, been supplied with a list. We've just returned from, I thought, an excellent presentation on modern slavery delivered by new officer Wendy Sims. Just a little bit of background information. Modern slavery, human trafficking is one of the most pressing problems our world faces today. An estimated 4.6 million people live in slavery across the world. I'm not quite sure how they got that figure, but if we look locally, those figures seem probably quite tame. We were all, I think, very shocked at the international news event, which was Wednesbury and Smethwick, modern slavery convictions, and I think all of us were very pleased to hear a little bit more detail. I think most of us feel better informed. We've been doing quite a lot of work around modern slavery and human trafficking through the Anti-Slavery Partnership, who lead on the strategic response. The virtual teams received 34 referrals, ranging from forced labour, sexual exploitation, criminal exploitation, domestic servitude, and Smethwick and West Bromwich was the biggest hotspots. But bearing in mind that this information was gathered over 4 years, the fact that the figures are low in other areas, I think, probably does not mean that it doesn't happen there. There were 17 multi-agency visits for that operation alone, 19 agencies and service areas undertaking 100 interventions to safeguard victims, pursue offenders, disrupt locations. 126 victims were identified and screened for modern slavery. and 43% of the multi-agency visits have resulted in arrests. I think congratulations are due in. So through greater understanding and awareness, we can end modern slavery and human trafficking in Sandwell. The overarching objective is to give a consistent, loud message that all forms of slavery and exploitation will not be tolerated in Sandwell, and we all need to play our part. I hope today's presentation has helped you identify those areas. To affirm our commitment today, the Council has agreed to sign up to a slavery-free community charter. Slavery-free communities is about responding to modern slavery at a local level using available resources and enabling the Council, our partners and communities to respond to and prevent modern slavery. Could I now invite the leader and David Stevens to come forward to sign the charter. Thank you very much. That is now Council policy. The Charter will appear on CMIS. You've got no excuse for not seeing it. But as we heard from the presentation today, it is our duty to follow these things up. And frankly, the events in Smethwick, and certainly in my own ward, were reported to us during our councillor surgeries and by email directly to us as causes of concern by neighbours. One neighbour counted 32 people going into a terraced house one evening. This was flagged up. I don't know whether that's part of it, but it's certainly, it did stop. That house is no longer a cause of concern. So I think as councillors we have a unique opportunity to pick up these sorts of events. At least now we have a charter, we have a policy for reporting. I hope our awareness has improved. Thank you very much. Right, moving on to item 5. Have we received any petitions under Standing Order number 5? No. None received. Agenda item 6, any written questions received? No. Thank you very much. Agenda item 7. Proposals depart from the local development plan. Item 7A, land at number 1, Birmingham Road, West Bromwich, B71, 4JH. Councillor Lloyd, could I ask you to move the recommendation in the report in relation to the planning application DC 1962949? Feels good saying that again. Proposals to the address I've just given. Councillor Lloyd.
Thank you, Mayor. I've moved the proposals to depart from the local plan, this land at Birmingham Road, and allow the exception for that one. It's relating to a coach storage. We've had no objections. It has full planning permission. There was no objections received, and ward members that I've spoke to are supportive of that, and I'd like to move that recommendation.
Thank you. Is that seconded? Who was that? Councillor Ali. Okay. Councillor Lloyd, you got up to 10 minutes to speak to the report and recommendations. Can I stress up to?
Thank you, Mayor. I'll keep it as short
Concise.
as possible.
Thank you.
The report lays out all of the recommendations and the background to this. Originally, the land was kept for employment, high-value employment. The coach company is using it. The land was lying vacant previously, and the recommendation is to continue with that as it has full planning permission.
Thank you. Can I open the matter for debate? Anyone got any comments? No? Seconder wish to say anything? No? Thank you very much. Right, I'll call for the vote. Those in favour, please show. Thank you. Those against? Any abstentions? So that's carried. Right. Moving on to item 7B. Councillor Lloyd again. I ask you to move the recommendations and reports in relation to planning application DC 1962885. Proposals to depart from the local plan at land adjacent to Dudley Golf Club, Turners Hill.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to move the recommendations as they're laid out in the report.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? Councillor Compton. Fine. Again, Councillor Lloyd, do you want to have up to 10 minutes to speak to the report?
Thank you. The report, the recommendations and the background are laid out in the report. Again, this is a piece of land that is used at the moment for storage and would be used for housing. I've consulted with local members and they're in favour of the proposal. There were no objections received when the planning application was put forward, and I'd like to move the recommendations.
Thank you. Does the seconder wish to speak? Councillor Crumpton.
Yeah, this application is in my ward, and I was pleased to find that they're not actually going outside of the curtilage of where they already exist. There are buildings there and containers there already, so that we're not actually taking any green space whatsoever. And to be honest, the golf club need the money to do some work on there, so I think it's going to be quite a good asset in the long run. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Right to reply, Councillor Lloyd? I say, shall we just open up to the debate? Any else wish to speak? Thank you very much. I'll take the vote. Those in favour, please show. Thank you. Anyone against? Any abstentions? Thank you very much. That's carried. Moving on to agenda item 8, to consider interim chief officer arrangements. Thank you. Okay. Can I invite the... Yeah, that's all right. Can I invite the leader to move the recommendation of Chief Officers Terms and Conditions Committee held 15th of July 2019?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I don't think I'll need 10 minutes to speak. We held the Chief Officers Terms and Condition Committee. The committee was faced with one expressions of interest for the role of Chief Executive in the interim. It was agreed that David Stevens was a suitable officer to be appointed. The appointment is for the duration until a permanent role holder is in situ. It is intended that the role will be advertised nationally, and it will be advertised via a high-level executive recruitment organisation. So we are confident in the fullness of time we will have the right person for job of Chief Executive. We believe that David Stevens is the right person to act in the interim for us and brings all the skills that we need. We're also asking for agreement that in the interim he is given the authority to approach executive directors to act up in his absence or where he's not able to act because of conflicts, as and when that is needed. Additionally, that leaves a gap in the Director of Adult Social Services, and we are recommending that the Stuart Lackaby fill that post. There will be additional vacancies, but that will be in the interim period until we can make more permanent decisions.
Thank you very much. Can I open the matter for debate? Oh, sorry. Can we have a seconder? Councillor Crompton. Yes. Open the matter for debate. Any comments or questions to the leader? Okay. In that case, Councillor Davies, do you wish to add anything? Thank you very much. So are the recommendations approved? Those in favour, please show. Right. Those against? Any abstentions? That's approved. Thank you very much. Can we get recall David? Thank you. Moving on to agenda item 9. That was approved, just in case you needed to know. Independent Remuneration Panel review on the members' allowances schemes. Can I invite the leader to present the recommendation of Independent Remuneration Panel?
Thank you. I present recommendations as laid out in the report. We are seeking further information as to remuneration for the Special Responsibility Allowance for the Deputy Mayor, who currently does not receive one. The recommendation is the role and the job descriptions of the Cabinet Advisors with the SRA as appropriate, and the creation of a further Chair of Budget and Corporate Scrutiny should be at the SRA of Chair. I'll take any questions.
Any questions of the leader? No. Can I just add my comment that I was quite shocked to find out that the Deputy does not receive an allowance. Certainly in my absence, Councillor Hartwell attended at least one event every day for one of those weeks, including at the weekends. I think it's unjust that she isn't suitably remunerated. So I hope you will give her some support in this. Hopefully it'll come back to the next meeting of Council.
If I could say, Madam Mayor, it is actually going to go back to this panel when we've looked at the broader West Midlands position of Mayor and Deputy Mayor, because I agree with yourself that it currently seems an anomaly that we need to address in terms of fairness. So that will go to a future panel, and obviously we will bring any recommendations back.
Thank you very much. Okay. I have to call for a vote. Those in favour, please show as stated. Thank you. Any against? Any abstentions? Thank you very much. That's carried. Item 10, report of the Select Committee for Electoral Participation. Can I invite Councillor Amelia to present the report of the Select Committee for Electoral Participation?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Madam Mayor, Councillors, at the meeting of the Council on the 22nd of May 2018, the Council established the Select Committee for Electoral Participation. Changes in electorate numbers had been highlighted, and the committee was established to examine the current process employed in Sandwell to maximise electoral registration, engagement and participation within the borough.
Thank you very much.
The purpose of the committee is to work collaboratively with members, officers, other council departments and partnership groups to discuss and investigate the current mechanisms in place to actively engage and promote electoral participation and registration. There was a committee set up in 2013 which looked at the specific challenges associated with the introduction of the individual electoral registration. That was where everyone in a household had to sign their own form and return it, instead of one person in the household signing for everyone within the household. This review that we took this year is timely now that the individual electoral registration has been in place for a number of years, and the appointment of a new electoral services manager who is reviewing all office practices and processes to ensure that all the legal requirements and electoral commission performance standards are met. The committee held 4 meetings in the year and some excellent results have been achieved. Guest speakers from schools, faith organisations and other organisations provided the committee with information from their perspective and also highlighted some key areas and engagement to be focused on moving forward. I am extremely pleased as the chair of this committee with the dedicated work that has been undertaken this year, and as chair of the committee I would like to thank all the members who served on the committee, the officers who made up a significant contribution, and our external partners including the many schools, faith organisations across Sandwell who have contributed to its success. I commend the findings of the Select Committee for Electoral Participation to the Council and recommend that the committee is allowed to continue to work in collaboration with members, officers and other council departments, partnership groups to actively engage and promote electoral participation and registration. If there is any questions, Madam Mayor, I would be pleased to answer them if I can. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions to the Chairman or comments? Thank you very much. Is the report received? Right, thank you very much. Moving on to item 11, to receive the annual report of the Licensing Committee for 2018-19. Can I invite Councillor Allen to present that report?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. The Licensing Committee's role is effectively to make sure ensuring the public in Sandwell are safe from harm, and primarily in the areas of licensed premises, taxis, private hire vehicles and gaming establishments. The focus over the last few years has been primarily on licensed premises, taxis and private hire vehicles, and the figures in the report speak for themselves on that. It's a bit of a movable feast in terms of licensed premises. There has been a change in the sort of activities that shouldn't be happening. In the past, when we had illicit alcohol, we dealt with it. Now what's happening in more places, it's counterfeit and contraband tobacco. Because it's easier to store, easier to hide, easier to move around. And we're dealing with those and have done over the last 12 months in very serious terms. We're also going to be extending this year into looking at the gaming establishments, because there's been no real control of how young people are getting in and using these fixed odds betting terminals. So there will be a move on that. So that will be in next year's. But as far as this year is concerned, the figures are there. It's moving forward. We are very conscientious into the work we do on licensing. And with that, I'd ask the council to receive the report. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Allen. Any questions for the Chairman? No.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, those reports were noted. Thank you very much. Moving on to receive the Scrutiny Annual Report, item 12. Can I invite Councillor Elaine Giles to present the Scrutiny Report for 2018-19.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The Scrutiny Annual Report before the Council today provides members with an overview of the work the Scrutiny Management Board and the 4 scrutiny boards have done during the 2018-19 municipal year. The annual report reflects on the wide range of topics and issues considered by Sandwell's scrutiny function, and how we work to support the ambitions of the Vision 2030 in everything that we do. I would like to thank all the councillors who served as members and the chairs of the scrutiny boards of 2018-19, and also the outgoing Chair of Chairs, Councillor Pete Ewers. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Receive the report. Oh, sorry. Councillor Hughes.
I'd like to thank Councillor Elaine Giles for her kind words, but I would just like to make two comments. One, that this report does not resemble the draft that I saw prior to May, as it omits the Chair's forward. It's obviously been expunged from the report, which is not the case in the Licensing Committee's annual report. And secondly, had the Chair's forward been left in there, the Chair's forward would say, "It was with the utmost thanks that I would like to say and congratulate the officers that supported me and the scrutiny boards over the course of the last 3 or 4 years. Without those officers in support of that, the 3 scrutiny officers in support of that, then I don't think we'd be able to do much of the work that was carried out over that time. So I'd like to say a personal thank you to them, as it's been left out of the annual report, which I think is a disgrace, to be honest with you."
Councillor Giles, do you want to respond?
We'll note that for next time. Thank you.
Okay. Any further comments? Yes. Note the report. No? Thank you very much. Moving on to item 13, request for extension of 6-month attendance rule. Can I invite the leader to move the recommendation of the report seeking 2 extensions to the 6-month attendance rule?
Members will be aware that we currently have 2 councillors who are suffering from really poor health, Councillor Tagger and Councillor Linda Horton, and I would ask that consideration be given to waive to give them an exemption from attendance.
Is this seconded? Thank you. Do you want to add to that? No. I think that's fairly self-explanatory. Any comments? I'll move that to the vote. Is that agreed? Aye. Thank you very much. Anyone against or abstentions? That seems unanimous. Item 14 is deferred to a future meeting. Item 15, to consider the political balance and appointments to vacant positions of community committees, boards and other fora 2019 to 20. Can I invite the leader to move the appointments to the vacant positions and revisions to these bodies?
Thank you. I would like to move the Labour Group appointments to committees and outside bodies, and they're included in the agenda. I would like to say thank you to all of the members who have been extraordinarily patient with the toing and froing that we have had to some degree, and I can only apologise. I hope these appointments are now fixed. There is one addition, which is the Budget and Corporate Scrutiny Management Board Chair will be Luke Giles, and I believe that's been missed out of the papers.
Thank you. Any comments? Is that seconded? Okay, Councillor Ali. Any comments? Okay, is that agreed? Any objecting? Any abstentions? Thank you. That's agreed. Item 16, to receive the minutes of the meeting of Cabinet held on the 17th of April, the 5th and 26th of June, and to consider any policy and or strategic recommendations arising from the meetings and to raise questions. Leader, have you got any? Present the minutes.
I hope people will indulge me, but I have written something, as this is my 2nd meeting, and I wanted to welcome the acting Chief Executive to his first council meeting in that role. There is a lot to do, and he has got a very big job, but I am really looking forward to working with him and his team as we address the challenges ahead. On the 21st of May, I sat here as leader of Sandwell Council for the first time, and I made four promises about myself as council leader and the leadership I would strive to bring to the council. 56 days later, I wanted to say a bit about how we've gone about delivering on those promises and our intentions for the future. Firstly, I have to say that I will lead a council that is wholly focused on improving the lives of our communities, a council that is not introspective and obsessively self-absorbed, but which does all it can to deliver excellent services and provide leadership to our partners in the borough across the region and beyond. I was particularly pleased last week to see that Sandwell Council has the lowest level of delayed transfers of care of all the 152 councils in the country. A tribute both to the hard work of this council's officers and to the great joint work that we are doing with our NHS partners. No one should have to stay in hospital a moment longer than they need to, and we should be proud that our council and our officers are leading the way nationally in this regard, so congratulations. Secondly, I said I will lead a council that reflects the fact we are a relatively young borough. I welcome the fact that we had a new intake of young and talented councillors. For the record, last year our average age as a council was 58. It is now 54. Nationally, the average age is also coming down, in fairness, but it is still between 59 and 60 nationally. Equally, we have a younger Sandwell cabinet and a team of cabinet advisors, bringing the average age down for cabinet member from 58 to 52. On a more serious matter for children and young people in Sandwell, our children's social care is now delivered through our Sandwell Children's Trust. It is a service under significant strain and responding to pressures on our local children and families that stem often from a damaging effect of family life in an austerity-obsessed central government. Children's trusts are also a service model which I'm bound to say is yet unproven. Nonetheless, as a council, we have to be absolutely committed to supporting our trust to deliver the best for our children, whilst ensuring we hold it accountable for its responsibilities. As the incoming leader, I have had to move quickly to stabilise the finances of the trust and have agreed a significant increase in budget. At the same time, I can promise you I am looking at our arrangements to improve trust accountability. Our young people also do us proud in so many ways. I was thrilled to attend the event last month, marking the funding award for the Shireland Collegiate Academy, a unique venture which will allow Sandwell children to attend a specialist music school in collaboration with the City of Birmingham Symphony Orchestra. This is a real opportunity to put ourselves on the map as a borough of excellence in music education, and I am really proud to have been part of that, and I can only apologise to Councillor Dalu, who equally was on the journey to that being achieved. So I apologise that I failed to invite him to the meeting. I'm also proud that Sandwell has many and very active groups of young people, socially aware and campaigning for change. Nowhere is this more so than in the response to climate change, and how heartening it is to see our young people seizing the agenda and shaping their futures. In response, we have agreed as a council to sponsor the planting of a tree for every child who is starting school in September in Sandwell. So there will be a mass planting of trees as part of our initiative of combating climate change. My third promise was to lead a borough respected for the best of behaviour amongst its elected representatives. I promised to lead with integrity and to use my leadership to model the courage and transparency that we need as a group and as a council. I said that the transparency was about absolute clarity of roles, and I signalled my intention to separate member roles to ensure separation of executive duties from those responsible for overview and scrutiny, including separation between those senior executive positions and those responsible for standards and audits. Tonight's council sees that process completed. But we need to go further. Effective scrutiny and challenge makes us a more effective council. I want us to have the best arrangements for overview and scrutiny, and to this end I have initiated a review of the current arrangements to ensure that we are learning from best practice elsewhere, and we will enlist the support of the Centre for Public Scrutiny in our endeavours. As councillors, we also need to be closer to our communities if we are to represent their interests and to be responsive to their needs. In this regard, I have two announcements I want to make. Firstly, we will be taking our cabinet meetings out from the council house and holding these in community venues, and taking the opportunity at the same time to meet with local people and local businesses. I realise this is hardly revolutionary, but it is hugely important that we are seen as local and accessible to all of the people in our borough. Secondly, I'm reviewing the current split in the use of Section 106 money and looking at whether that can be devolved to our town committees and strengthen our town approach to how we improve our areas. It's also become clear to me that we equally need clarity between the roles of members and officers. We have different jobs to do, and we need to understand what those jobs are. We need to work together with mutual respect, and as members we need to be able to rely on honest and robust advice and challenge from officers if we are to be effective political administration. Above all, our officers need to be able to go about their work without fear and without favour. In saying all of that, I would like to particularly pay tribute to the Council's officers. The more I see, the more it's obvious that we have a fantastic group of officers who really do work hard, day and night, to bring the best services to the people of this borough. I'm not sure that our current member-officer relations protocol is robust enough. I will thus be asking for a review to be carried out to ensure we have both an effective protocol and that it is observed in our day-to-day business. To inform this work, I will also be asking that we learn from lessons of the past, including drawing from the experiences of current and some ex-member employees. Finally, with regard to openness, integrity and transparency, it has been to our discredit that we have turned this council house into a fortress, particularly on formal occasions such as council meetings. These had got completely out of hand with regard to any real or perceived threat. We would do well to remember that it is not our council house, it belongs to the people of Sandwell. We are only there by dint of the fact that they have elected us and they have asked us to serve them. Of course we need due regard to public order, but as I said, I believe this had gone beyond all reason. Members and the public will no doubt have noticed and hopefully appreciate that we once again have an open and welcoming council house. Finally, I promised to work tirelessly to bring unity and a sense of common purpose to this council, and I said I wanted us to have the same sense of ambition for ourselves that we have for the people we serve. I want us to have a reputation for being the very best at what we do. We have a lot of our councillors in new positions. Many of us have a lot of learning to do, including myself, to fulfil our responsibilities. That will take time, and I have enlisted the support of the Local Government Association to support us with a programme of member development which we will be working on in the coming weeks. I will also, I hope, be spending time telling our Sandwell story, including building a positive profile with our local media and ensuring that the government and the Department of Communities and Local Government are appraised of our plans and our progress. In that spirit of inclusivity and joint working with key partners, I have also reinstigated the meetings with our local MPs, and I look forward to working with them on our shared interests of delivering our vision of 2030 for the Borough of Sandwell. Thank you. And we will now go through the pages page by page. Is it your role?
Does anyone have... Well, I just thought just note the minutes, unless anyone has any specific comment on a particular item within those minutes. Are there any concerns, any questions? Councillor Dallow? Which page? Ask the young guys next to you. Is it on this item? Is it on item 16, the Cabinet Minutes? 16C. Third meeting, yes. Which bit of it?
Yeah.
Go on.
Madam Mayor, although I have given the prior notice to the Cabinet Member, Councillor Lloyd, it's about the indoor market in West Bromwich. It has been taking a long time. I was wondering how long it will take more, because I think the people are asking time and time again. We have reduced the rent before, and I don't know how long we have to reduce it again and again to make it viable. Thank you.
Page 171, is it?
Yeah, it's item 7119.
Oh, 7119.
Madam Mayor, would it be all right
Yes,
if I ask the Cabinet Member to respond?
Well done. That's page 204. West Bromwich Indoor Market Redevelopment Proposals and Investment Options. Councillor Lloyd, yes. Carry on.
Thank you, Mayor. The indoor market redevelopment proposals came to Cabinet. We are fully committed to redeveloping the market in West Bromwich. We're looking now at including our stakeholders and carrying out consultation there with both the market traders, the local traders and the shoppers there to make sure that we get the best plan possible. We are also looking for funding to have quite an ambitious plan for the indoor market, and to that end I'm meeting with the High Street Task Force tomorrow morning in West Bromwich to look at bringing funding in, not just for that proposal but for other proposals. We do want to carry out quite an ambitious plan for the indoor market, and I feel it would be remiss of us not to have a full consultation. In many ways, before we've carried out work with shops and redevelopments and not involved the traders at all in that. So our advice is to talk to the traders, make sure it's what they want, make sure we can get the best plan possible, and also to look at the different options, because we are looking at possibly demolition of the existing facility and a rebuild. So with that level of investment, it would be remiss of us not to consult fully on that one. So that's the reason for the delay.
Thank you. Does that answer your question? Good. Jolly good. Any other comments, questions? Okay, receive those minutes. Moving on to item 18, to consider minutes of the Ethical Standards and Member Development Committee of the 28th of June. 17, sorry, yes. Consider minutes of, I'm going ahead of myself. Minutes of the meetings of the Budget and Corporate Scrutiny Management Board held 3rd of April, 27th and 27th of June. Raise any questions of the Chair of the Board. That's Elaine Giles. Yeah? You were... Yeah? 17. 17, sorry. Budget and Corporate Scrutiny. Yes. Any questions on any of those items contained therein? Thank you very much. Received. Now moving on to agenda item 18. Consider the minutes of Ethical Standards and Member Development Committee, 28th of June. Raise any questions. Councillor Lewis.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move the minutes of the Ethical Standards Member Development Committee, which was held on Friday the 28th of June 2019, and we'll take any questions. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Are there any questions or comments on any item contained therein? Thank you very much. Receive those minutes. And finally, to consider minutes of the General Purposes and Arbitration Committee held 11th of April. Raise any questions. Councillor Dalu.
Yes, I will move the minute of the General Purposes and Arbitration Committee held on 11th of April. Take any question, Madam Mayor.
Okay, we also need approval to changes in respect of polling stations in Bristol and Wensbury South wards.
Yeah.
Those seconded? Yeah. Any questions? Is that agreed? Oh, sorry. Is there a question? Show of hands. Does it agree? Please show hands. Thank you. Any objections? Abstentions? Oh, that seems unanimous. And that... Okay. Leader, would you like to conclude our meeting?
I just wanted to ask people, we are going to do a card for Jenny Formby. At the end of this meeting, it is going to be a photograph, and we're going to send our best wishes because she really has, in our view, been instrumental in making the changes that we want to make at Sandwell and has been supportive of the difference that we're making. So we just wanted to say all the very best for what she's going through. So those people who would like to be in the photograph, if you can stay in the room, because the photographer's going to go upstairs and photograph from the balcony. I think Councillor Ali wants to say a few words. Okay.
Just a reminder to go upstairs. Right. Any other comments? There you go. Oh, Councillor Webb, yes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to know if the Council fully would send congratulations to Ninda Joel, who has recently been made a Deputy Lord Lieutenant of the West Midlands. Ninda he's Sandwell born, Sandwell bred, and she received such an honour. We should endorse that. Thank you.
We can pass on congratulations and best wishes. Thank you very much. Any other parting comments? With that, we'll close the meeting. Thank you very much for your attendance.